So a lot of purchases happen in rural properties. And today we need to consider, what are some of the things you should think about? Paul, coming to you first and foremost, if you're working with a client and they want to buy a rural property, what are some of the things you discuss? Why don't you pick out one in particular and we'll talk about it?
Septic, water, propane. I mean, what do you want?
Pick out one that you would talk to them. Let's just say a first-time home buyer.
Utilities in general, probably.
Utilities, I think, is the hardest part because if they're not all, it's not like living in town where everything's just one bill and it all just comes no matter what.
It's just stubbed into your house.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, in a rural area, that's going to be a hard one to say over and over again. Outside of the city limits, you have propane, which everybody thinks is more expensive, depending on who you go to. Could be more expensive, could be less expensive. Water, you have not always city water. You could have community water. You could have wells. Irrigation usually comes with those properties. Septic versus city sewer system. Those are all things to consider. The electric could cost a little bit more because you have to run the lines a little bit further out. Yeah, rural areas are... Zoning is another big one.
Yeah. But let's stop right there. Let's talk a little bit about the utilities.
Yeah, focus this question.
Yeah, focusing the question on the utilities. So what would a buyer be thinking about? Should they think about like with a community water users association or a well? I mean, what's the difference or how would that impact them versus normal city water?
It's usually less expensive. All water associations, city water, they all have to be tested at a certain frequency to make sure that it's drinkable water, potable water. Usually city water, and I know city water, you have to water your grass and all of that kind of stuff. It can be pretty expensive in the summer. Community water usually costs less. It's not typically only based on usage like it is in the city. They have annual fees. A well, there are many different types of well, but the well for potable water is, they call it a domestic well. Those usually have to be registered, permitted, all those types of things.
Yeah, and the flow rate, right? Because you could have a well, you're on well water. Well water's good, but then it runs dry. So you go, use them for your house, great. But then you add a little garden out back and things like that. All of a sudden, you're pumping a dry well. That's a consideration.
One thing in this area with wells is really hard water.
Yeah, the minerals.
Yeah,
the iron is really high here,
and it wreaks havoc on your appliances.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to go shoot a shotgun down the well to break it all.
Yeah. Does that come from experience, Aspen?
Yeah, it does actually.
Yeah.
Again, yeah.
Go down there and shoot a shotgun to clear it out a little bit.
Yeah, otherwise they're going to charge you like $850 to do it. You can just go take care of it yourself.
You got to be prepared to be a little redneck if you live in the country.
That's what I'm saying. You got to have a little redneck in you. It's all right.
And something people don't think about too is a lot of these older properties that are in the country, homesteaders or grandma and grandpa put them together and may have done some things that weren't really smart, like maybe put that well kind of close to your septic leach field. Yeah. And now you're watering your lawn with,
buried tanks for like water storage. And
yeah. When I shared this on a previous episode, but I remember being a kid and my uncle dug a pit and put like a VW bus in the back and then stuck a pipe in the back of it. And I was like, wow, that's weird. Does this have a new playhouse? And no, it's a septic, at the baffle wall with the seats in the middle. And I mean, there's some janky things out there, but back to the water component, community water systems, just for our audience, anytime you're outside of the municipality, what happens is typically they come together and they say, look, we all live out here north of the municipality. We need drinking water. Let's create an association that has potable water. Like you said, follows the rules of the New Mexico Environmental Department or wherever, whatever jurisdiction you're in. And we're going to get tested, make sure this water is good, but we're going to run a line out to all these different properties that are outside of the municipality for drinking water. Now, some of them do really well. There's actually an association here locally, North Star, that is arguably better than the municipal water. I mean, they're big.
Now at
this point, and they have a big network, very well ran. But then you do have others. Remember Cedar Hill had a water users association that actually went defunct. The water wasn't good. They didn't run it right. And so, those are considerations if you're looking to purchase in a rural area.